The champion. They're the final boss, the trainer you must defeat to let the end credits roll. Sometimes. And are regarded as the strongest trainer in their respective region. But today we're disproving that by listing a trainer from each region that is stronger than their respective champion. Starting off in Kanto, where the champion is either your cool rival or the not so cool rival. However, no matter which one you prefer, they will always be second place to Professor Oak. Yep, don't let age fool you. Oak has been battling and capturing Pokemon since he was the player's age. In the mobile spin-off Pokemon Masters X, we learned that Oak would try and help a young Elite Four Agatha with her battling prowess. But whenever Agatha would try and battle Oak to get him to go away, he would always beat her. Dang. He got that animal cage fight riz. These battles would continue until Oak eventually gave up battling to pursue a more humane career in Pokemon research. But from what we can gather here, it seems that young Oak was a force to be reckoned with, being able to easily defeat a trainer that would go on to become an Elite Four member. Agatha even laments on this in Fire Red and Leaf Green, telling the player, that old duff was once tough and handsome, but that was decades ago. He's a shadow of his former self. Damn! Talk about a chilly reception. But it would seem that Shadow hasn't lost all of its force just yet, because in Pokemon Red and Blue, unused trainer data for Professor Oak exists, which reveals an incredible secret. Oak has 3 potential teams consisting of a Tauros, Executor, Arcanine, Gyarados, and one of the 3 fully evolved starter Pokemon. Oak's strongest Pokemon, Gyarados, is a whopping level 70, eclipsing the level 65 starter his grandson and your rival wield, and making Oak the strongest trainer in Kanto. Now this battle can only be triggered for a series of glitches because, you know, Gen 1, but these unused teams could indicate that at some stage Oak was planned to be the game's super boss, an optional opponent that is stronger than any other boss in the main story. This could have been unlocked by completing a feat in the post game, like capturing Mewtwo or completing the Pokédex. But while this super boss was just a myth, this next trainer in the Johto games is as real as it gets. Because it's you, of course. I don't think there's any denial that Red in Gold and Silver is stronger than Champion Lance. Heck, they're not even in the same lane anymore. Lance is still on 100cc. I think when your point is backed up by the game's natural progression for what it considers a challenge, you have a pretty compelling case for one trainer to be stronger than another. We also have fairly good evidence that in a 1v1 vacuum, Red can overcome a challenge from Lance because, well, we already did that in the original games. There's also another trainer I think is stronger than Lance in the Johto games, and that's of course Blue. I reckon if he stopped fooling around in the Viridian gym for minimum wage, his past feats and skills as a trainer could easily take the champion spot back, regardless of how much Lance has practiced spamming full restores. But while in Johto it's pretty set in stone who's strongest, this next stone is a little harder to budge. When he's not busy collecting rocks, Hoenn's champion Steven Stone is one of the most powerful trainers in any game period. And when someone describes themselves as the strongest there is right now, you can see why it was tricky to find a trainer that could defeat the ultimate Ruin Maniac. Of course I had my theories, one of them being Steven's father. I mean, he has to get those battling genes from somewhere, right? And who could forget Zinnia from the Delta episode? She comes from an ancient line of dragon warriors and can possess the ability to Mega Evolve Pokemon. But as a trainer, her skills seem to be incomplete, shown with her inability to Mega Evolve Rayquaza and failure to manipulate Team Aqua and Magma to do her bidding. So who is able to crack the stone? I'm going to throw in a wild card with Wally. Our favourite asthmatic rival improves leaps and bounds during the story of the Hoenn region, going from a sickly kid with a level 5 Ralt, to a competent trainer with a Delcatty, to a fully fledged competitive battler who travels to the Alola region searching for the strongest battles and being able to Mega Evolve multiple Pokemon. In if anyone is taking down Steven, it's Wally. And as for Emerald, well, that's easy, it's Steven. What isn't easy though, if the interaction farming Twitter accounts haven't made it obvious enough, is the battle against champion Cynthia in the Sinnoh games. And I mean, yeah, they're right, when it comes to battling strength in Sinnoh, there's not many that can surpass her. Notice how I said not many though, as it turns out the trainer we need may be closer to home than we realise. Because a few doors down from the main character lies Barry's father Palmer's house. Except he isn't there, and no, that's not because he's gone to get the milk, it's because he's living in the secluded northeastern island of Sinnoh. This is a destination you are only deemed worthy of visiting after defeating the Pokemon League. I mean, if you really look into it, everyone on this island is a savage. They don't even name their towns properly, they're just called Fight Area and Survival Area. Palmer though literally stands at the top of all these battle maniacs at the top of his battle tower, which is the Pokemon equivalent of Heaven's Arena from Hunter x Hunter. You can only be battled after defeating 20 trainers here in a row, and then again after sending another 28 to the Pokemon Center. It's in the rematch though, Palmer's palms have balls that possess multiple legendary Pokemon, a feat that Cynthia is yet to accomplish. And if you want any more evidence in favour of our favourite absent father, look no further than the opening sequence from Arceus and the Jewel of Life, which actually features a battle between Cynthia and Palmer. Wow, could this be the final nail in the coffin? The battle cuts off before we know who wins, but we learn 2 nuggets of valuable information from the brief display. 1. Palmer is comfortable fighting Cynthia with one of his non-legendaries in Milotic, not needing legendaries to go toe-to-toe with her strongest Pokemon Garchomp. And 2, Cynthia is a complete idiot here, as she tries to use Flamethrower on a Milotic. You know how much that does? I ran it through a calculator, it does 6 to 7% damage. She literally owns a Milotic herself. What is she doing? Anyway, all these points considered point Palmer in the direction of strongest trainer in Sinnoh, but from one of the strongest champions to the weakest in the Unova region. Champion Alder is probably the easiest to pick apart because part of the plot is that N defeats Alder and becomes champion of the Unova region. And yes, even though N did use a legendary in preparation for putting Unova under martial law, I think the story makes it clear that N was always the stronger of the two. While Alder is a very dedicated trainer, raising his prized Volcarona from an egg, the 14th letter of the alphabet is on the other hand an extremely adaptive battler. Quite bizarrely, or humanely, N releases Pokemon back into their native habitats as quick as he catches and trains them. This quality is also exhibited in the seasonal battles in Black and White 2, and it's arguably one of the main reasons why Ghetsis used him to become champion. Speaking of Ghetsis, he's probably stronger than Alder as well. Obviously he shows his prowess in the final battle of Black and White, but it also makes sense for Team Plasma to have a backup plan in case N got crit in battle or went through his rebellious teenage phase a little early. And as for Iris in Black and White 2, yeah, N is still stronger. Local level 70 dragon destroys girls' dreams with facts and logic. Now, a quick detour to Kalos where the trainer stronger than champion Diantha is youngster Austin. Congratulations! But seriously, this is probably the second hardest region to find a stronger trainer than the champion in, because thanks to Game Freak's blessing of a complete barren wasteland of a post-game, there isn't many trainers to pick from. It's like pulling up to McDonald's when they were out of Szechuan sauce. At first, I thought AZ could be the one. Living for a grand 3,000 years means that he's had a longer time than most to study type matchups, especially when he was committing Pokemon genocide. As of right now though, he's a bit washed up and probably too busy playing with his Floette to engage in any more battles. How about Sycamore then? Maybe he can provide some of that secret strong Professor Mojo Oak inhibits. I mean, he's able to befriend Xerneas and Pokemon Masters, but it's difficult to know if everything on that island is canon or not. Or if the boss fails, why not check out his underlings? Dexio and Sinnoh are self-proclaimed Pokemon veterans, who are always around to assist you in X and Y, but don't actually do much because, you know, protagonist plot armor. Like Wally, they're also partial to a cheeky holiday to Alola, where it's revealed the pair are extremely powerful trainers. Dexio's battling prowess is especially highlighted, with multiple high-level rematches where he uses both Mega and Legendary Pokemon. He and Sinnoh also appear as possible opponents in the battle tree, which features some of the strongest trainers in the series. So all in all, I think if it came down to it, I'd fancy Dexio to be the one that gets the victory royale over Diantha. Okay, now time for Alola, and this might be the most challenging case of champion crushing in this video. This is because of course, you are the champion. Therefore, an interesting paradox is born where anyone you beat can no longer apply for the stronger than champion position, but then anyone you lose to automatically becomes better at battling than the region's strongest trainer. And it's not like Generation 7 is devoid of strong trainers. In fact, many previous champions and nominees including Red, Blue, Wally, Cynthia, Ghetsis, and Dexio all appear and can be defeated. Well then, who is stronger than someone who can in theory defeat anyone? Logic says it would have to be someone the player has never battled and can't battle, but the outcome of any match would be a foregone conclusion. So who fills in that slot? Enter stage left, Mohn. He is the caretaker of Pokepelago and the former husband of Lucamine, before he literally got isekai'd and transformed into a himbo. What isn't very known about Mohn is his battling skills. Wait, what? In fact, it's a hidden fact that Mohn is one of the strongest Pokemon trainers in the world. I don't think that's true. Also, it's well known that during early development, Mohn was meant to be battleable and armed with a secret code that would mean every battle he underwent, he would be victorious in. Sorry, Hmaz. Everything you said there is completely untrue. Prepare to be community noted. Do you have any evidence against this claim? No, but that's not how that works. So yeah, case closed, Mohn is stronger than the champion, thank you, goodbye. Funnily enough though, and this is me no longer making things up, Mohn actually has some baller Pokemon in the anime, being possession of both a shiny Magearna and Nihilego. Sheesh, someone's been on Johnny Canal's channel. But for our next nominee, they can be found on the Isle of Armor, or in the fridge. Because Mustard from the Galar region is definitely stronger than Leon, and let me explain to you why. First of all, Mustard holds the record for the longest time spent ever as champion. We learn through the Condiments trainer cards that he held down the position for 18 years. That's almost double the lifespan of 2 Ash Ketchums he spent undefeated. Moreover, he only lost after being hit with the grief debuff after his cherished partner Pokemon died. After taking the L, he then bought a random patch of land near Galar and transformed it into the Isle of Armor we all know and are indifferent to today. On the Isle, he of course runs his battle dojo in which Leon himself trained at, and still to this day, Leon refers to him as Master. But wouldn't Mustard's skills have faltered by now, just like AZ's? You actually couldn't be further from the truth, as the Yellow Source Man wields the highest level Pokemon found in Sword and Shield. One of them being of course the legendary and bogeyman of all VGC players, Urshifu. Just like Palmer and Cynthia, Leon and Mustard have also thrown down in a special episode of the anime, but that battle was cut short. Still though, I think if it came down to it, Mustard would be able to trump Leon in a battle. And don't just take it from me, because Leon himself says that he still has a lot to learn about PG dogfighting. It's time to wrap things up in the Paldea region with top champion Geeta. Now I could go safe here and just say Nemona is stronger because, well, it's true. But I think you guys deserve a spicier pick than that. But as luck would have it, the Hmaz DLC has left something brewing that we should probably keep an eye on. Kieran is Wally with a few added edges, and even faster improvement rate. Maybe it's aided by the tragic length of the story, but in the span of a couple days, Kieran is spurred on to become a champion level trainer who engages in the never seen before act of putting held items on his Pokemon. Kieran's crueler streak can also be seen in him taking a dump on the Karen philosophy, by dumping the weaker members of his team in favour of stronger ones. There's also the matter of him maybe being possessed, which I should probably bring up and explains why he's gotten so good in such little time. And from what we see at the end of DLC, this desire for power is only going to get stronger. But we'll have to wait another day for that. In the meantime, if you think I deserve it, why not give this video a like and subscribe to keep you in the loop for more content. Thank you to all my patrons, and I'll see you in the next video.